Hello. A while back, I promised you a video on the second half of a trip Gail and I made to Yellowstone National Park this past February in 2025. I think now is a good time to bring it forward since it's pretty hot out and maybe this will cool you off a little bit. So, hope you enjoy it. The morning after arriving at the Old Faithful Snow Lodge, I was anxious to get up and get going early. Unfortunately, Gail was a little under the weather from the cold, the altitude, and a cold she'd picked up at work. Here's a photo of the base of the Old Faithful Geyser with no one around. I was in a small group from the snow coach I rode down in, but it felt all alone. In fact, the afternoon I was out alone much of the time. I think I panned the camera a little fast on some of these videos because I was so excited. This long clip is from a little later in the day when Gail felt well enough to join me. We went out and watched Old Faithful together. You can tell, though, hardly anyone joined us. Less than 30 people, maybe? In the morning, the little group I was with walked back behind Old Faithful up to the upper part of the geyser basin across the Firehole River, looked at some of the smaller geysers. I fell into my habit of panning this too fast, so I took a clip out of this video just to show you how amazing it is to see A, a bunch of geysers going off, B, no people watching them. It was fantastic. Here is a somewhat slower but wider pan of the upper geyser basin in the morning. Beautiful, just beautiful. The Firehole River kept clear from ice by the steamy runoff from the geysers. The geyser at the end of this clip is the largest of the Lion Geyser group. Another all-too-quick pan from near the Sawmill Geyser. Notice all the ice on the trees. It's so pretty. The Sawmill Geyser, a smaller geyser, one with frequent eruptions. Castle Geyser from a distance. More of the Sawmill Geyser from a little later in the day. Riverside Geyser in the distance. I remember from a previous visit how beautiful this is with the sun on it making a rainbow. The Lion Geyser up close. There are 4 geysers in this group, known as Lion, Lioness, Big Cub, and Little Cub. They're all connected underground. Castle Geyser, one of the geysers I think that's prettiest in the park. I wonder if this fellow thinks it's the prettiest geyser too. Castle Geyser from a little bit of a distance. The Beehive Geyser, after an eruption, emptied its pool with Old Faithful in the distance. Castle Geyser again, with a bison near the path that I need to walk. You can see he's crossed over part of the river from where I showed him to you earlier. That bison was giving me the evil eye. You could see he didn't really want me walking down that path, so I waited until he'd crossed back over the other river and was on the other side so I could get through. These animals are amazingly fast. I'm sure he could have crossed that river and been on me in a heartbeat. This fumarole on the edge of the river was generating a ton of steam. I tried to look up a name for it, but I could not find one, which just goes to show you how common this kind of thing is. The diving ducks in this clip are common goldeneye. The larger ones staying up top are mallards. You know me, I've got to report on the birds. This coyote came within a few yards of me as he snuck past. Castle Geyser again, finishing up. Over the next couple of days, the snow coach took us to several other iconic places. We saw more animals too, such as these bison in a wallow, keeping a little warmer. They would wallow in places where the steam was near the ground. They could keep some warm that way. This is what steam does to all the trees at 20 below zero. Trumpeter swans feeding in the Firehole River. A pair of common mergansers. Gibbon Falls, flowing down from the mountains on the Gibbon River, much icier than the Firehole. Downstream from Gibbon Falls. That darn little mountain chickadee flying away from me was the only real songbird I managed to capture on film the whole time. What a treat to see this red fox. He was pretty far away, but he was beautiful. After watching the red fox for 10 minutes or so, we got to see the traditional fox pounce. Unfortunately, he came up empty. There were a lot more coyotes in Yellowstone than I was expecting. You hear about the wolves being aggressive towards them and reducing their numbers, but there still seem to be plenty. Lower Yellowstone Falls is unquestionably one of the most beautiful falls in the world. It looks Different, but still incredible in the winter with the column of ice on the right-hand side as you look at it. You can tell I'm standing pretty far away. You can still hear the roar of that water over the falls. Speaking of that ice column, every year a few people try to climb it. Crazy. Trail to the black sand pool on a frigid morning. The black sand pool, showing the ice buildup all around it. This is Gail lying by the black sand pool. She can hear and feel it rumble underneath her. This is the Cliff Geyser, a small geyser in that area. All these features are near the Biscuit Basin, which is the part that exploded in 2024. Iron Spring Creek runs through that area. Even in Yellowstone, with no one around, you can have a traffic jam. These are the artist paint pots and some of the surrounding area. The portion called the paint pots are much more colorful in the summer. These next few clips are from the area around the Gibbon River. The river is more frozen, colder than the fire hole due to the lack of geyser water in this area. I think these are some friends we met a few days ago. This clip seems to show the larger wolf, one of the ones with the collar. The wolf in this clip looks like the younger black wolf that we saw the other day. Most of the steam that you see in this clip comes from the geysers around Norris Geyser Basin. More trumpeter swans. Canada geese. If you think about it, standing in the water is actually warmer than standing in the frozen snow. one last coyote to enjoy. They sure look prettier here than the ones do running up our street. All too soon, we're leaving through the gate. What a fantastic place to go in the winter ice and snow. If you can take it, I highly recommend it.